We have to get her off the planet now, the leader exclaimed, his voice firm and urgent. Carlos and Lucia exchanged confused glances. What are you talking about? Carlos asked, his brow furrowed in concern. Why do we need to take her away? The leader's expression turned grave. The attackers, the ones who destroyed our settlement. They were aliens, and now we have one in our midst. Lucia's eyes widened in shock. What do you mean? Ava's not an alien. The leader's gaze locked onto Ava, who was watching the scene unfold with innocent curiosity. She may look like a human child, but her abilities, they're not of this world. The levitation, the strange eyes, it's all too familiar. We can't risk her being a threat to our survival. Carlos stepped forward, his voice pleading. But she's our daughter. We can't just abandon her. The leader's face softened slightly, but his resolve remained firm. I'm sorry, Carlos. I truly am. But we can't afford to take the risk. We have to protect our people. Lucia fell to her knees, tears streaming down her face. Please don't take her away from us. We'll do anything, just please. The leader's expression turned stony, his voice unyielding. I'm sorry. The decision is made. We have to take her off the planet for the sake of our own survival. The leader turned to leave, his squad falling in step behind him. I'll expect you to have her ready at 6 p.m. sharp, he said over his shoulder, his voice firm and unyielding. Carlos and Lucia scrambled to their feet, desperate to stop him. Please don't do this, Lucia cried, reaching out to grab his arm. But the leader shook her off, his expression unyielding. I'm sorry, but this is out of my hands. The decision has been made. Carlos tried to reason with him, his voice pleading. But what about her parents' rights? We have a say in this too. The leader's face was unmoving. I'm afraid not, Carlos. In matters of planetary security, the Council's decisions are final. With that, he turned and climbed into the truck, his squad following close behind. The engine roared to life, and the vehicle sped away, leaving Carlos and Lucia standing in the dust, their hearts heavy with despair. They looked at each other, tears streaming down their faces. What are we going to do? Lucia asked, her voice barely audible. Carlos shook his head, feeling helpless. I don't know, but we can't give up. We have to fight for Ava, Carlos said. Let's call Adam. He took up the phone and called Adam. Adam, you have to help us, Adam replied. I know the news already got here. Adam, please. You have to help us, Lucia begged, her voice shaking as she held the phone tight. Lucia, Carlos, I know how much Ava means to you both. Adam's voice was sympathetic but firm. But my hands are tied. The Council's laws are clear. Any child exhibiting abilities must be taken into custody for the safety of all. But Ava's not a threat to anyone, Carlos protested, his voice rising in desperation. She's just a scared little girl who needs our love and protection. I know, Carlos, believe me. I know, Adam sighed. But I can't make exceptions. The Council would never allow it. Lucia's voice cracked as she spoke. Please, Adam, have a heart. She's our daughter. There was a pause on the other end of the line, and for a moment they thought they heard a glimmer of hope. But then Adam spoke, his voice firm once more. I'm sorry, Lucia. I truly am. But my answer is final. The Council will take Ava into custody at 6 p.m. sharp. I can't stop it. Lucia's eyes widened in shock as she held the phone away from her ear, her gaze fixed on Carlos. He hung up on us, she exclaimed, her voice trembling with disbelief. Carlos's face contorted in anguish as he took the phone from her hand, his eyes scanning the screen as if hoping to find a solution hidden in the pixels. He's gone, he whispered, his voice cracking. Adam's gone. Lucia's body shook with renewed sobs, her face buried in her hands. No, 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 this can't be happening, she wailed, her voice echoing through the room. Carlos pulled her close, his own tears falling unchecked as he held her tight. Shh, Lucia, shh. We'll find another way, he whispered, his words empty of conviction. Together they collapsed onto the couch, their bodies racked with sobs, their minds reeling with despair. The clock on the wall ticked away, a relentless reminder that time was running out. As they cried, their minds raced with desperate thoughts. They thought of fleeing, of hiding Ava away from the council's reach. But where could they go? The council's eyes and ears were everywhere. They thought of fighting, of resisting the agents who would come to take Ava away. But they knew it was futile. The council's power was absolute, their agents trained to handle any situation. Lucia's eyes lit up with determination as she turned to Carlos. "I know what we need to do," she said, her voice filled with a newfound sense of purpose. "We need to go back to the hospital and find that nurse who helped us. She knew what was going on. She had to have known. Maybe she can help us understand what's happening with Ava." Carlos's eyes narrowed, unsure of where Lucia was going with this. "What are you thinking, Lucia? That the nurse is going to magically appear and fix everything?" But Lucia was undeterred. No, think about it. She had access to that medicine, the one that changed Ava. She must know something about it. And if we can get her to come with us to the council, maybe she can vouch for us, convince them that Ava's not a threat. Carlos's expression softened as he saw the desperation in Lucia's eyes. "Okay, let's do it. Let's go find her." They quickly made their way back to the hospital, their hearts racing with hope. When they arrived, they scanned the halls frantically, searching for the nurse who had helped them. Finally, they spotted her, hurrying down a corridor. "Wait," Lucia called out, running after her. "Please, we need to talk to you." The nurse turned, a look of surprise on her face. "Oh, it's you two again. What's going on?" Lucia took a deep breath. "We need your help. Our daughter, she's been taken by the council. They say she's a threat, but we know she's not, and we think you might know something about it."